It's your favorite YouTube dealer. I appreciate you guys for stopping in. I feel like my voice almost just cracked there. Hopefully it comes out all right. But anyways, we got some new Harry Mack. It's called As Time Goes On. I feel like the titles that he uses for these songs is so on point. Like the title alone always draws me in because I'm like, yo, as time goes on, okay, I want to hear what he's gonna do with that. Like, how is he gonna approach this concept? So let's just get into it, see what that man's cooking with.
Yeah.
Okay, little vibe.
Crazy, man. Time just keeps on moving.
Too fast,
One
too.
thing we can bet on. No, time is undefeated, man. I'm not in my 20s anymore. About to turn 34. Got me thinking, man, on some deep shit for real. Yeah, listen, I said, sometimes I wonder if I'll simply run out of new lyrics to say, dwindle into a drought. No brainstorms to roll through and water the crops. Will I reach a point where I figure I ought to just stop? Will I be forced to feel the despair of cowards who face the blank page and just stare for hours? Try to write something clever, but in spite of my efforts, no ink spills, papyrus stays as dry as a desert. Will I hold on to delusions of more song creations with no true contribution to the conversation? Will I accept it, a fight, struggle, and then grit my teeth harder and white knuckle the pen? Will I have to dismantle my identity or find a new way to channel the energy? Perhaps I'll continue until the day I rot in the grave. Regardless, I'm grateful for every word I'm jotting today. You know, as time goes, as time goes on.
Yo, I like this. Because I mean, for him especially, it's a really great point. I mean, he gets words and, freestyles about different stuff around him. So you figure there'll always be something there to freestyle about. But at the same time, let's just say another decade goes by and he continues to do guerrilla bars, goes back to like Omegle style stuff, and does all these different things. Like, at some point you're like, yo, he's used every word possible. I mean, it's probably not realistic because there are so many words, angles, things, and ways to approach stuff. New shit is going to happen in the world he could talk about. But like what he says, though, does make sense, right? Like, and you're not going to always talk about everything. You're going to talk about the shit that makes sense to you. And that kind of stuff might run out at some point, or as you get older, maybe you're not living life in the same way that you were when you were younger. That created a whole bunch of material for you mentally to talk about, for you to do and say, you know what I mean? Like, take like a young rapper, right? And not talking about Harry Mack, but a young rapper, 20s, they're probably still going out having some drinks. They're going to party a little bit. They're experiencing a lot of new things in life. And so they can then turn that into songs and rap about it. Relationships, so on and so forth. But once 10, 20 years goes by, yeah, you can still talk about relationships if you're still in and out of them. But how much more can you say about them? You know what I'm saying? Like, you start to feel like, am I going to run out of shit to say? Now, we have examples of artists that have grown to be 40, 50, 60 years. I mean, look at Eminem, right? There's technically always something to talk about. And a lot of it ends up being from a social standpoint, because again, things will continue to happen in life. Shit that's going to be different scenarios and stuff. And you can kind of utilize that to talk about stuff. But as far as the baseline of like, Harry likes to spread positive messages, it's not like you can run out of positive messages, but at a certain point, you've kind of touched on everything, right? And so then you have to kind of redirect towards some other type of shit, or just talk about this. I might be running out of shit to say. Like, I don't know. It's really an interesting concept. And I like that he talks about these things and that these are the thoughts that he actually has, because it's different, right? Like, this is something that you don't hear a lot of artists talk about. And I feel like it's cool that he's actually doing that, because like, from an artist standpoint myself, a lot of times we try to get away rapping. Wait, how do I want to put it? We want to get away from rapping about rap sometimes, right? Like, I'm the best this, I'm that. So, but like, it's kind of like a fallback. It's an easy thing to fall into, especially if you're going to do it in freestyle format or otherwise. And it hits, right? Like it hits. But at a certain point, you're like, okay, I've said I'm the best so many different ways, so many different times. And I like that he finds ways to talk about rapping, but in other ways. Like, he's talking about how he might run out of material to rap about. You know what I mean? Does it make sense what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm having a day today. I feel like I've been up since too early. Probably need some more food, but hopefully I'm making sense with what I'm saying. And I think that this is a cool concept. And I like the thought process that he kind of gives me with some of the shit that he puts out, because it makes me think about stuff that I don't always think about.
I'm grateful for every word I'm jotting today. You know, as time goes on, I'm hoping I can keep my mind so strong. I'm hoping I can keep shining on till my body declines, spirit climbs beyond. I said as time goes on, I'm hoping I can keep my mind so strong.
I like this.
I'm hoping I can keep writing songs to right my wrongs until the day day I'm finally gone. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears, I ponder this question. As I grow older in years, I'm still young with plenty of energy, but eventually my skin will be weathered like old leather or 70s vintage furniture pieces, full of permanent creases. They say at later stages it's hard to learn from the teachers due to lack of neuroplasticity. Pray I'm fighting to challenge this. I can't have a mind full of calluses. Hope
Okay, that's an interesting topic too. They say that as you get older, it's hard to learn from the teachers. What he's trying to say is like as you get older, it's not as easy to learn new things. You can still learn shit, but it's not going to go in the same flow that it would when you're younger, right? Which is why they say a lot of times if you're young, try to learn different languages then. You could still learn languages at 40, 50, as you get older, but it's not nearly as easy to do as when your brain is still developing, you're still taking in information, you're still creating more pathways in like your teens, especially your early 20s, even into your late 20s. Like that's probably like the key point in time for you to learn as much as you possibly can. Can you learn stuff after? Again, yeah, you can, but you're going through way more obstacles and it's going to be that much harder to retain some of it than it would be when you were younger.
the lack of neuroplasticity. Pray I'm fighting to challenge this. I can't have a mind full of calluses. Hope I'm reading books, underlining key phrases for the analysis, making space to stay creative and childish, writing poetry and still reciting it vocally. Even when the hairs in my beard are white and totally, I wonder when I'm old jotting these rhymes like a lumberjack swinging properly. If I ain't got no more fans steady watching me, will my sound still vibrate when I'm chopping trees? I'm saying as time goes.
I also feel like it's important for you to always be trying to learn, right? And I think part of the reason why this is probably a thing that ends up being true for a lot of people is because once you reach a certain age, I feel like you stop trying to learn stuff. And maybe not even purposely. You're not like, well, I've reached 30. I'm not going to learn shit anymore. I don't got no time for it. It's just that life kind of takes over, right? Responsibilities, working all day. You end up being exhausted by the end of your day. You just want to relax. You want to watch some shit. You want to go to sleep, wake up, so on and so forth. Whereas when you're younger, you have more time, especially in your teen years when you don't have all the responsibilities and stuff. You can take more time to read a book. You can take more time to do these different things. Now, can you make that time when you're older? Of course. But even reading a book, it's like, unless, like he said, he's doing it and underlining stuff about analysis. So he's talking more about I'm trying to learn something from these books as opposed to just reading some stories, right? But if you try to learn constantly throughout your life, like if you're going through your 20s, you try to learn different things, mixing, whatever it is, music related, say, or you're trying to learn how to, do mechanic type stuff for your car, blah, 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 blah. And then into your 30s, you continue to try to learn. You find other ways of finding things that you're interested in that you want to learn. I feel like if you keep it consistent throughout your life, it'll probably stay a little bit easier for you. Obviously not as easy as someone who's younger, but I don't think that it'll be as hard as somebody who maybe just kind of focuses on life, stops worrying about learning new shit or anything like that by 25, 30. And then all of a sudden at 50, they're like, shoot, I want to learn something new. I feel like that obstacle for them is so much bigger than somebody that is consistently staying on top of like, yo, I'm going to try to learn this. I'm going to learn that. It's like keeping your mind fresh. It's almost like working out, right? Like you can't just go in the gym and just do some crazy workout if you haven't worked out for a decade. You know what I'm saying? I feel like our mind works kind of similarly.
Yeah, as time goes on, I'm hoping I can keep my mind so strong. I'm hoping I can keep shining on till my body declines, spirit climbs beyond. I said as time goes, yeah, as time goes on, I'm hoping I can keep my mind so strong. I'm hoping I can keep writing songs to right my wrongs until the day I'm finally gone. I said, yeah.
Yo, this shit went hard. I like that one a lot. That shit. This is why I like Harry's songs, because I feel like he always gives me something to talk about in the reaction. The song could be 2-3 minutes long, and we end up going for 8+ minutes because there's so much in that little amount of time that opens up your mind to be like, yo, I like this perspective. Let's talk about that perspective. Let's talk about, like, he's always like teaching you some shit to an extent, right? So shout out to Harry. Let me know what you guys thought down below. I appreciate you guys. I say this all the time, but I just want to keep letting you know, live every single night, pretty much, twitch.tv/DuaneTV. Usually by 7-8 p.m. Eastern. There is a link in the description. If you don't want to remember it, you can just click it, go right to it. Follow me. You will get notifications. Friday nights, we do music reactions. Saturday, we tend to watch some random videos and stuff like that. Sometimes music as well. And then throughout the week, it just depends, right? It could be gaming if I have a game that I like playing. Sometimes I try to find games that I want you guys to join me in. Like I've been trying to play some Liar's Bar. I just bought it. Haven't played it yet, but I'm probably going to play it either after the music reactions tonight or tomorrow at some point. And if anybody has it and you guys want to stop in and play some with me, feel free. Otherwise, we just talk about shit throughout the week, watch some videos, play some demos and try some new games out, try to rate some shit, see what we think is good that's coming out. But hopefully you guys will join me at some point. There we go. Appreciate you. Take it easy. Stay safe. I'll catch you in the next one, homies.